Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I am here with an important topic in emergency room, that is ocular point of care ultrasound. So let's see what is its importance, how do we perform, and what all can we examine. Ocular emergencies, it mainly accounts for 3% of all emergency department visits. The use of ocular ultrasonography for the evaluation of emergency patients has been recently described in the emergency medicine. So ocular examination in both traumatic and non-traumatic complaints using our POCUS is readily an available option in the emergency department. There are number of potential users that may greatly aid the emergency physician and avoid a lengthy consultation or other diagnostic tests using an ultrasound. Ocular ultrasound is quick and easy to perform a bedside test. So let's see the indications for use of ocular ultrasound in emergency room. The first is eye trauma. Patient with any causes of eye pain, vision changes or loss of vision, exophthalmos, foreign body, or patient presenting with headache. So how do we perform this? So the probe used for an ocular ultrasound is a linear array transducer which has a higher frequency and resolution. Using a copious amount of gel, the transducer is placed in the transverse plane on the eyelid and the transducer is made stable using the fifth digit on the patient's temple or the nose and avoid pressure on the patient's eye. Once the probe is made stable, the ocular structures are to be evaluated in a neutral position. So this is how the transducer is placed. So these are the structures which we can see starting from anteriorly. Here is the cornea. Behind the cornea is the anterior chamber. In between is the pupil. Behind the pupil we can see the lens. On the either side is the iris. The huger posterior chamber is the vitreous humor, followed by which posteriorly we see is retina, and here the hypoechoic region is the optic nerve which is seen here. So these are the structures we normally visualize while performing an ocular ultrasound. So let's discuss the pathologies which we can see using an ocular ultrasound. Coming to globe rupture, generally ultrasound is not recommended in a globe rupture for concern of worsening of injury, and if at all it is performed, we must not put pressure over the eyelids. Generally it is useful in evaluation of traumatized eye, especially if patient's eyelid is too edematous, for direct visualization of the globe but without putting pressure over the eyelid. What are the findings we see in a globe rupture? We see decrease in globe size. We see that the chambers are collapsed. There is buckling of the sclera which is seen in this image here, wherein we find that the chambers are collapsed and there is decrease in the globe size. Next, coming to ocular foreign body, is seen as bright echogenic acoustic profile and either shadowing or reverberation artifact is seen as seen in this picture. This is an extraocular foreign body that is seen. This is an intraocular foreign body seen. Next, coming to lens dislocation, typically caused by a blunt trauma of the eye or may occur spontaneously in patients with Marfan syndrome. Ocular ultrasound is particularly useful when there is so much palpebral edema or hematoma that direct visualization is difficult. Completely dislocated, the lens can be found in the anterior chamber or floating in the vitreous or laying in the most dependent part of the globe as seen here. Next, coming to vitreous hemorrhage, it appears as an echogenic material in the posterior chamber. Fresh and or mild hemorrhage, it appears like a small dots with low reflectivity and swirls in the vitreous with eye movement. This is called washing machine sign. Older or severe hemorrhage gets organized and forms membrane. It may layer inferiorly due to gravity. This is how a fresh hemorrhage looks, wherein with the eye movement this swirls in the vitreous. Next, coming to posterior vitreous detachment, it appears as a thin hyperechoic mobile membranes in the posterior chamber that will not be tethered to the optic disc. Unlike the retinal detachment, posterior vitreous detachment can cross the midline of the globe as seen in this picture. Posterior to this, a small amount of vitreous hemorrhage is seen. Next, coming to retinal detachment, it looks like an hyperechoic undulating membrane in the posterior globe